Okay, we got this recording going. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, based on the time zone you are joining. I know very well that most of the people are joining from India, but for people who are not, thank you so much for each and everyone who are joining on the weekends. And welcome to our day three of Aim for Agentforce initiative. So, as you all know, this is a very great initiative that SFMC Mumbai has come up with. And this is the day three. And we all know who is the speaker for the day, Logesh Matheswaran. He is Salesforce technical consultant in Salesforce itself, and he will talk more about himself after I give a quick guidelines about the few of the announcements that I want to make. So you have been with us from the last 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, but actually this week and that week. So 2 weeks, and we know that very well. You are giving your best to learn, and everyone wish something to get in return, right? When you learn something, you want something in return. And yes, we were taking, as we promised, we were taking care of the logistics in the last week. And here we are with the updates. So next few slides, I'm going to talk about the giveaway guidelines for the Aim for Agent Force initiative. So before I talk about that, what is the most interesting thing that you love to be, you love to get or you love to achieve when you start learning? The most interesting thing is some giveaways, some surprises, right? So, yeah. So here we are, and now we are going to announce what are the giveaways we have planned for our this entire Aim for Agent Force series. So giveaway number one will be Trailblazer hoodie. Yes. Giveaway number two will be Trailblazer community t-shirt. Number three will be Trailblazer community diary. Number four, an interesting one, will be Flushy, Astro Flushy. That's very limited. And yes, we are going to do a giveaway for that. That's not limited. The next one we are going to do is Trailblazer mascots stickers. After this, we have something new, especially designed Trailblazer community pouch. And the last but not least, which you all eagerly wait for, is Salesforce certification voucher. Yes. So these are the giveaways that we are going to do from hoodie, t-shirt, diary, Astro plushies, stickers, pouch, and certification vouchers. So these are the giveaways that we are going to do. But everything comes with a cost. That means you don't need to pay anything, but you have to follow some rules which make sure that you are eligible to get this swags and vouchers. Now, what are the rules? The first rule is your attendance. Yes, we are keeping a track of all those people who are joining our sessions regularly. So if you are joining our sessions regularly, go, we are not going to make your efforts go in vain. So first rule is you must attend at least 5 out of 8 sessions to qualify for the participation rewards. So if you want to grab any one of the giveaways that we are going to do, you have to attend at least 5 sessions. So as of now, we have completed 2 sessions. We are still left with 6 sessions, including the one which we are attending today. So if you have not attended the first 2 sessions, no worries. We still have the recordings available on my YouTube channel, Automate Sphere. You can go ahead and watch the recording. But if you have not attended those 2 sessions, here is the time you attend the remaining 6 sessions so that you become eligible and you get qualified for the participation rewards. Rule number two is the trailhead task. So from now onwards, you will get some trailhead modules. So we are going to create a sheet, an Excel sheet. We are going to create it. You have to complete all the trailhead modules that we will be sharing with the Excel sheet. Now, where can you find that Excel sheet where you will have all the trailhead modules? You can find it on our WhatsApp group. So by today or tomorrow, you will get all the trailhead modules that you need to complete. And what is the deadline? So the deadline is 19th of July. 20th is the last date. We are not going to accept any new registrations or anything on the last day. So 19th July is the deadline for all the rules that we are going to set. On 20th July, we are going to make the announcements. So you have to complete all the trailhead modules that we are going to share on the Excel sheet. Point number three. is the LinkedIn activity. So make sure to post on LinkedIn every session now onwards, whatever you are learning, you have to post on LinkedIn and you have to use this hashtag because we are going to track with only this hashtag. Hashtag aim for Agentforce, hashtag SFMC Mumbai. With that, you have to tag SFMC Mumbai official page, all the speakers, that is me, Logesh, Pradeep, Shibu. These four speakers you have to tag. And not only that, our SFMC Mumbai core team, that is Balachandar, me, Salim, Ravi, Rizwan. Am I missing anyone? Yeah, Lakan Singh Thakur.
Lakan
You
Singh and
have to
Sagar.
tag, yeah, and Sagar, sorry, and Sagar. So you have to tag everyone. Again, I'll repeat it. So you have to use this to hashtag only. You have to tag SFMC Mumbai page, all the speakers, and SFMC Mumbai core team. Okay. Then there is a special giveaway for this personalized banner post. So on Monday, we are going to create a special banner template. You have to post with your photo. Okay. You add your photo to that template that we are going to share and then post it on LinkedIn. Again, use the same hashtag, same SFMC. You need to use same hashtag. You need to tag same people that I have mentioned and same SFMC Mumbai page. Okay. Now, to get eligible for the exclusive swags. So there is swag for each and every step, but third and fourth, you have to complete third and fourth together so that you become eligible for that exclusive swag. Last but not least, now if you want to get eligible for certification vouchers, because Trailblazer hoodie and certification vouchers, and not only that, we have one special Agent Blazer hoodie as well. So that is a special announcement. And to be getting eligible for that, three special swags: Agent Blazer hoodie, Trailblazer hoodie, and certification vouchers. Okay. So for that, you have to complete the assignment. So apart from this, we are going to give some assignments as well. You have to complete it, and top performers will win Salesforce certification vouchers. Now there will be a question in your mind: how do you judge who are the top performers? The top performers will be judged based on people who are ticking all the check boxes. That is, they are completing at least 5 out of 8 sessions. They are attending it. They have that related task. They are going to complete it. Okay. Then they are going to post on LinkedIn whatever learnings they are doing for all the sessions going ahead. The personalized banner post, they will do it, and then they will have to complete the assignments. Once you complete all these five, you automatically become eligible for certification vouchers. But at the same time, you will have to be in the top performer. So that means you'll have to complete each and everything before 19th of July, and you have to be in the top five list. Maybe top five, top 10, top 15, top 20, 225. That depends. But trust me, we have a lot of vouchers, we have a lot of giveaways. It's not like we have just one or two vouchers, we have more than that. Okay. So with that said, if you have any questions with related to this, please post all your questions in the chat. Okay. And I will keep this slide like now also, before we move ahead with Logesh part, we will keep this slide going. Then once we have a break of 5 minutes, then also this slide will be displayed. This slide will be also displayed at the end, and this slide will also be shared on the WhatsApp group so that you don't miss any one of this particular rules that have been mentioned. All good? So that's it from my end. And now I'm handing over the stage to Logesh.
All
Logesh, the
right.
stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Aman. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Great. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Welcome to the session Understanding Agent Builder in Depth. So I'm Logesh. I am going to be your host for today's session. Okay. So with that, I just want to give a quick reminder on our forward-looking statements. Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please make all your purchasing decisions based on the currently and generally available products, and not the products that are on the roadmap, including what are I'm going to say in this session. With that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. I know it's a Saturday, your personal time. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for showing interest in learning something new. Hope you learn a lot from this session. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Here is a little bit about me. I'm Lokesh. I work as a technical consultant at Salesforce, and I'm part of Global Delivery Center GDC India. I have around 5+ years of experience in Salesforce ecosystem, and I'm a multi-cloud Salesforce consultant. What that means is that I worked on um, Salesforce industries and core clouds, and then I'm an Agentforce expert as well. Currently, I'm learning Slack and Hero. And yes, I do have a little bit of credentials from Salesforce. You can take a look at the numbers over there. And I've been involved in quite a few programs from Salesforce. One such program is Salesforce Insider. Insider in good terms. If you're ever interviewing with Salesforce, you will get an opportunity to interact with insiders like me in the final stage, and where you will get to know more about Salesforce culture, benefits, and your career growth opportunities inside here at Salesforce. And I'm a super badge credentials subject matters expert as well. Some of the super badges that I played a role as an SME are the prompt template, which was part of Agentforce champion, I believe, and the Agentforce for service and the report administration for admin. So these are the super badges that I played a role as an admin, sorry, SME. And yes, I do own two second generation managed packages. The first one is Apex Pulse that sits in the App Exchange now. You can try it out. So what this does is like it will scan your entire Apex class and gives you the results of used both unused and unused methods and variables. The second one is the formalizer, which is interesting one, which is used to calculate the formula results on the fly without needing you to create a formula field and put your formula over there and validate the syntaxes and add it to the page layout and then check the results in the record individually. So both of these apps are completely free and available online. You can try this out and you can share your feedbacks with me. So this is all about technical side of me. In my free time, either I'll be swimming, gymming, cooking, binge watching, or doing some volunteer activities. Okay, so if you want to connect with me, you can scan this QR codes. I'm available in LinkedIn as well as in Twitter. So post this session if you have any questions regarding the Agent Force or Agent Builder that we are going to discuss today. You can feel free to reach out to me. And if you miss this, no problem. You can easily find me out in the LinkedIn in the name of Logesh Madheshwaran. All right, so we have the packed agenda today. So what are we going to cover is first we're going to take a look at what is Agent Force and its quick look, because this is really important to understand the basics of Agent Force before we jump into any other thing, right? And then we look into the ABCs of Agent Force. Again, this is also one of the most important areas to understand what are the permissions that are required for the agents and what are the different types of record sharing mechanisms it can have. And then next we'll deep dive into the Agentforce builder, where you can create and manage your agents. And then we will discuss the most favorite topic of mine, that is AI assisted agent generation, which lets you create agents in minutes, where you can take or you can let the AI to take the first pass for you. And then we will see the demo where we will go through the steps one by one to create a simple agent from scratch, both using the user level and also the AI assisted level. And then finally, we can take up any burning questions you have. Okay, so I want this session to be a little bit interactive. So I just want to understand from the audience perspective that how many of you know what is Agentforce already? You can use chat, say yes or no. I hope I'm audible, right, Aman?
Yeah, you're audible, clearly audible.
Great.
People, you need an answer. How many of you know what is Agent Force? At least people who have attended the initial sessions, they should know.
Okay, great. I can see lots of yes and few no's, no problem. All right. So if you are new to Agentforce world, no problem. And we are here to learn, right? All right. I have my next question. How many of you built your first agent in Agentforce? I can see lots of reactions. Salman, Harshal, not yet. If you're not, no problem. We are going to do that one today. Okay, so everybody's talking about agent force, agent force, agent force everywhere, right? So what really is agent force, right? So agent force, to put it simple, it brings digital labor to all the employees across multiple departments and the businesses to improve your customer experience. Plus, agent force works with the existing data, the logic, and your business processes to provide more accurate results. And most importantly, this is built on the most trusted platform that is none other than Salesforce. So you don't need to worry about your data. Your data is always safe and secure. And now you might be thinking, why Agentforce? Right? Why do I need Agentforce? Right? And in this agentic era, right, LLM, that is large language models alone is not just enough because AI agents need more data, and also it requires data from multiple systems to provide more accurate results. Obviously, it should be secure, and also it should take actions appropriately as per your business processes, right? And thankfully, we have Agentforce from Salesforce, and Agentforce does everything for you. So you don't need to build anything from scratch. And that is where Agentforce comes in. Plus, remember, human aspect will be always there. So both humans and the agents combinedly drive the customer success together. Okay, now we take a look at Agentforce quick look. So Agentforce is not just a set of tools, it's a suite of agents as well, right? On the set of tools side, you have the agent builder. That is the topic of discussion today, where we will deep dive into that. But for now, with the help of the agent builder, you can create, manage, and customize agents for both your internal facing and external facing agents, right? And in the agent builder, you can configure the topics, instructions, and what actions your agents can take, whether it might be with the help of prompts, flows, Apex, or API. And then we have the Atlas reasoning engine, which is the brain of Agentforce, and that powers Agentforce to learn and take actions appropriately. And then we have the retrieval augmented generation feature that is simply called as RAG. Let's say if you have a customer who want to or who has structured or unstructured data, and you can feed that data into the data cloud, and you can leverage the functionalities of RAG, which lets the Agentforce agents to take the actions appropriately. So this is all about the tool side. On the suite of agent side, we have different types of agents as of today. We have a dedicated session tomorrow to deep dive into the what are the different types of agents available in Salesforce and what are its characteristics and functionalities. But for now, these are the categories of agents we have. We have autonomous agents, and in that we have the Agentforce service agent, which is very popular agent that you might be aware, which is a customer facing agent where the customers can put in their questions and they get response from there. And then we have the Agentforce Sales Development Rep, shortly called as Agentforce SDR, which works well in the sales world. And we have the Agentforce Personal Shopper, which is related to the Commerce Cloud. And then we have the assistive agent side, where we have the Agentforce Default, formerly known as Einstein Copilot, which is an internal facing agent which lets the internal employees can work better with the help of this agent. And a quick note over here, Agentforce default become end of sale as of July or June 17th, I believe, subject to correction. So what this means is that Agentforce default is going to get replaced by Agentforce employee agents. So we'll talk about more on this in tomorrow's session. But for now, under the assistive category, we have the Agentforce default, and then we have the sales coach. Again, it works in the sales world, and Agentforce was set up. This agent is a kind of a cool agent that got introduced from TDX25 San Francisco, which lets the admins to do their jobs more effectively and efficiently, like rather than like going and searching for multiple permissions in multiple places. You just need to input a prompt, and it will give the response for you. So both set of tools and the suite of agents goes hand in hand, and both combinedly drive the agent force success together. All right. So now that we understood the agent force and its quick look, now let's familiarize ourselves with the key attributes of the agents. So before we jump in, what is this AI agent? Like because everybody's talking about agent, 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 or AI agent. What is this really? right? So to put it simple, agent force or simply agents are different from other generative tools like chatbots, copilots, or prompts because they can plan, reason, and use tools with either with or without human intervention. And now, in a nutshell, AI agents are your digital teammates that can do any tasks for you, like replying to your emails, summarize your hundreds and thousands of records, or updating any records, all on their own. So there will be no human intervention involved. Okay, coming to the attributes, the first one is the role, right? Role has the topics. Topics are nothing but the jobs to be done, and we have the instructions. Instructions are nothing but, as the name itself says, a set of instructions to make the jobs to be done. Then these things define the role of the agents. And then once it is set, you can feed in the data to the agent where it can learn a lot of stuff and it will become more knowledgeable so that it will understand your business and take actions appropriately. Coming to the action side, like you can either have, updating records or creating records or deleting records or send out an emails or set anything in the external system, everything you can do in the actions. And obviously, we have the guardrails because security is important. Right. So with the help of the guardrails, you can set the limit where you can let the agent can do whatever it wants, and also you can control the agent, so that it can't go out of the limits. Plus, it can be deployed in multiple channels based on your business requirement. On top of all this, trust is there. Everything is built on the trust layer. So I hope you remember like the Einstein trust layer. None of your data, either it might be the PHI or PII or whatever your customers sensitive information, it will never leave Salesforce trust boundary, and everything will be masked. And then once you get the response, and once it enters the trust layer, it will be demasked and respective responses you will get in the screen. So remember, trust is the number one priority at Salesforce, right? So everything is built on the trust and nothing can go out of that. Okay, so now we understood the agent force, the attribute. Before we get into the agent force world or the agent force builder world, let's familiarize ourselves and understand the ABCs of agent force permissions and the record access. So let's say, imagine you build something, right? You build something fantastic that is really cool, like everybody appreciated. But if you don't have necessary permissions, nothing is going to work, right? So it's all waste. So permissions and the record access should be in place before we build anything so that you won't end up in a lot of debugging things or a lot of errors. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the agent force running user context, what access this already has, right? So as I already mentioned, there are different types of agents as of today in the platform, and it can be categorized into both internal and external facing agents. On the internal facing agent side, we have the agent force default, which is soon gonna, or which is already replaced with the agent force employee agent. And then we have the agent force SDR, we have the agent for sales coach, we have the agent force for setup, etc. So all these agents runs in the context of the user, whoever is invoking the agent. So what that means is, so let's say if you're a user, you logged into the Salesforce app, you're trying to access one record type, but you can't see it, right? The reason is obviously, because you don't have the access to it. The similar concept applies over here. If you're a user who is invoking any of these agents, and if you don't have any such functionalities or the features that is already in place on the permissions, you're gonna get a error saying like something went wrong. So you need to debug and provide appropriate permissions. On the other hand, we have the agent for service agent, which is a customer facing agent, which always runs in the context of a dedicated user that is nothing but Einstein service agent user. So we'll come to that while creating the agent later. And this user has a dedicated profile called Einstein agent user, and the user license is Einstein agent. So this particular user entirely runs with the help of this user. So whatever permission is, you need to provide all those permissions to this user rather than your user itself in the org. And there is a point to note here, the service agent in the builder, the entire agent builder runs always in the context of the user's context, right? Or agent user's context that has been created. In this case, it is Einstein service agent, right? So this is really special. Because if you take a look at the other builders that is currently available in the org, like Flow Builder or whatever it is, it always runs in the system admin, the context, or whoever is accessing that context, right? But especially this agent builder, specifically for service agents or like any external facing agents that you're creating, it always runs in the agent users context. The reason being is that, so let's say if you're building something inside the builder, and remember all these things are going to be customer facing, right? And you build something in the agent builder and you think it is working fine, well and good, give the green flag, okay, deploy. Then while customer is interacting, there are a lot of issues. Not to avoid that, you can exactly simulate the customer facing scenarios right inside your agent builder so that you won't miss out, any such use cases or even the edge cases. So whatever the customer facing agent is going to respond, the same thing you can get it in the agent builder. So this is one of the interesting facts regarding the agent. Okay, coming to the permission sets. So these are the permission sets that you need to assign to the respective agents in order to make it work smoothly, seamlessly, efficiently, effectively, whatever you call it. So coming to the Agentforce default side. So let's say Logesh is there and I want to make use of the Agentforce default. You might be noticing that a small agent astro icon in the top right corner of your org in the Lightning UI. That is where you can find the Agentforce default, right? So in order to make use of that, you need to assign all this permission set. The first thing is that access agent force default agent. I know it's a very big name for the permission set, but you need to assign this permission set to the user, whoever is trying to access this agent force agent. And then if we have two other permission sets, data cloud user and the prompt template user. So let's say if your agent is trying to access any of the data cloud functionalities, like any RAG functionalities, like fetching information from any of the uploaded files or knowledge articles or web search, obviously you need to include this permission set. And the third thing is that it goes same. So if your agent is invoking any prompt template to summarize, multiple records for a particular parent record, and you need to assign this permission set to the respective user, whoever is trying to access this agent. On the other hand, we have the Agentforce service agent. I know a lot of different types of permissions going on here. Let's look at it one by one. The first thing is that Agentforce service agent secure base. Again, it's a quite mouthful name. So this is a shared permission set. What that means is that it doesn't matter. You can have n number of service agents in your org, and as soon as you create that, system automatically creates this permission set for you, and it will be shared across all the service agents. So this this permission set is a bit special. It only has access, or you can only provide access to very specific objects, including the cases, contacts, messaging sessions, and the knowledge. So that is why it is called as a shared permission set. And then we have the permission set group, agent for service agent user permission set group, wherein we have three different permissions. The same concept applies over here. Agent for service user agent and the prompt template user. If your agent is trying to access any prompts or data cloud, you can assign this permission set. And then finally, we have the dedicated permission set, agent name and permissions, right? So let's say if I create my like agent for service agent as Cassandra. Cassandra is going to be my agent, which is going to help customers and resolve their questions and whatever they have. The moment I create the agent, automatically the permission set will be created in the name of Cassandra permissions, Cassandra agent permissions. Okay, and this permission set is a dedicated permission sets for each agent, wherein you can provide all the object access that is not covered as a part of the shared permission set. It might be custom object or a standard object, or if you want to include your Apex classes or whatever it want, including the data spaces, you can assign all those things inside this permission set, because this permission set is a dedicated permission set for each and individual agent. So we have seen the permission sets. Now we'll see the record access that you can grant it for the agent user, right? As you all know, we have different types of record sharing mechanisms in Salesforce, starting from owner based to the manual and epic sharing. So what I've done over here is I've put together a table where it says what are all the things that are restricted and not restricted for an agent to have the access. Let's start with the owner. So you can't make the agent user as a owner of any records inside Salesforce. And if you try to do it, you will end up in error. So that is a thing you need to keep it in mind. And agent user always follows the arg-wide access rules, right? And you know what are those arg-wide access rules, right? And then you can't assign the view all, modify all access in the system permissions to the agent force agent user profile. That is not allowed. And let's say if you have certain records that are owned by a specific set of groups or specific set of people, you can always create a public group, and you can assign that agent user to it, and you can leverage this public group in the sharing rules. Either it might be the criteria based or owner based sharing rules. And the most important thing is that in order to provide, data access to this agent user, do not try to place your agent user on top of the role hierarchy just to open up the access. It is not best practice, and it will create a lot of repercussions in the org. And finally, if you have any, complex sharing that you want to achieve or you want to give it to the agent user, you can always leverage Apex sharing. And if you're using any flows, in case of auto launch flows that your agent can leverage, and if you want to open up the access for any records, you can always set the system context in it so that it can fetch all the records without sharing. Again, it's subject to discussion. Please discuss with your team, and then if unless until your business requirements push, do not take this route, making it as system context. It's like opening anything you can, right? Now, what are the additional permissions required apart from the things that we have seen related to the permissions and the record access, right? With respect to the service agent, because this is going to be the customer or the public facing agent, which is going to take questions from the customers. Assign the CRUD, create, read, update, delete, and the field level security on any object that you want to use with respect to the agent. So let's say if your agent invokes any object, it might be anything, custom object, standard object, or whatever it is, right? You need to provide the appropriate access. If you didn't, obviously you will see an error. Something went wrong or something, it cannot be accessed. And another thing to note here is, so let's say if your agent is invoking any object, and in turn that object is trying to reference any other details from other different object, you need to provide the CRUD and FLS on those objects as well. So to put it simple, whatever objects that you're invoking, you need to provide the CRUD and FLS on that. And obviously, if you're connecting any Apex classes as a Agentforce action to an agent, you need to provide that access to the respective permission set under that agent, plus data cloud spaces as well, if you're using data cloud spaces. And then flows in Apex always runs in the context that are they created to run, right? And if you want to change it, you can change it like I mentioned earlier. You can make it like without sharing or whatever you want based on your business requirement. Now, there are a couple of best practices that I want to emphasize. The first one is share only the relevant data that your agent needs to function. Imagine you own an apartment, right? And you will give the key to the respective tenants to their respective flats only, right? And you won't give keys to all the tenants to all the keys, right? Because um, it's not correct, because so that anyone can access anything, anytime, anywhere, anything they want, right? So it is not allowed. So the same analogy applies over here. Share only the data that your agent needs to function. Do not share a lot of things that agent don't want. And the second thing is that, again, I want to emphasize, avoid placing the agent or the instant service agent user at the top of role hierarchy just to open up the record access. So this is not encouraged and not recommended. So this is not even, a best practices at all. So you need to open up the access using the appropriate mechanisms. Last but not least, always follow the principle of least privilege. So this concept applies not just for the object level permissions or the field level access or whatever it is. It also applies for the record access as well. Only open up the access that is required, and if it is not required, don't open up the access. Okay, now we are entering the world of Agentforce. First, we have the Agentforce Studio, which is a gateway to your Agentforce builder, wherein you can enable the Agentforce and you can create a new agents, and you can find the details that that the agent set has been created already, like the name, type, descriptions, so on and so forth. Plus, you can find the agent force agent versions as well, so that you can use those accordions to expand it. What are the versions that has been created? Like we have it in the flow. And note over here is you can have up to 20 versions for a single agent, so that you can activate and deactivate whatever you want based upon your requirements. Plus, another note also here, you can have up to 20 different types of agents in your Salesforce org as of today. Okay. So if you want to enable the Agentforce default, there will be a dedicated checkbox or the toggle over there. You can enable it to make use of that inside your Salesforce org. And Agentforce default is an internal facing agent. It's not an external facing agent. Okay, coming to the agent details, it is a place, where you can find all the respective details related to the agent, starting from name, the API name, the description that you have provided while setting up the agent, and the role of the agent, plus the company, and the creator date, and all other, standard details like the creator date, created by, who last modified it. So this is like a preface to an agent where you can find all this information. And then we have the topics. So whatever topics that you are going to configure inside your agent builder, that's going to show up over here just for your reference, that you can take a quick glance at, okay, these are the topics that I referenced. Okay. And then we have the system message. So what this is that, let's say if you want to define a greeting message as soon as the user starts interacting with the agents, let's say, hi Lokesh, welcome to the session. I'm Cassandra. How may I help you today? So these are the things that you can keep it in mind before you're asking questions. So all these things you can configure right inside your system message, rather than a bot like message. Hello, I'm a bot over here. How can I help you? So in this 2025, nobody wants that, and everybody wants the human touch and the friendly behavior, right? So in order to do that, you can configure all those personalized messages right inside your system message. And then we have the language settings where you can set the languages, or you can see the languages that you can also set it inside the agent builder, based on what language that your agent can respond, all those steps. And then we have the connections tabs. It's really important because when you're working with service agent, especially agent for service agent, connections are important because it has two types of connections. One is inbound and the outbound. So, like as the name itself says, inbound, which means something that is coming inside, right? Where if you have embedded this, or if you want to embed this agent in any of your customer facing sites, for example, in your experience cloud site example, you need to have the like inbound flow in place or inbound connection in place, so that you can embed this agent right inside the channel, so that a chat will be initiated and everything will be forwarded to this agent and agent can respond to it. And then we have the outbound connection where you can transform the agent conversations to the internal human agents. For example, let's say your agent is handling an angry customer. Sometimes we have, right? Sometimes the customers say, yeah, whatever, like I want to talk to your human agent. I don't want to talk to any agent or whatever the non-human agent it is, right? In that case, it will be escalated to a human agent with the help of the outbound connections. So that is where outbound connections come into the scene, and you can leverage both of things with the help of the flow itself, so that you can do. And like I mentioned, we have the agent versions accordion over here. So if you take a look at it, there is a version one active. So it is like a drop down. You can see which version is active, which version is not, and how many versions you can have. So all these things you can find it inside the agent details. And if you want to switch to multiple agents, you can obviously do that as well. And then we have the opening agent builder. That is where the agent builder comes in. Okay, so with that, we'll come to we arrived at the topic, today's topic of discussion, that is agent builder. So what is agent builder, right? As the name itself says, it's a builder, right? It's a place where you can start building your agents and you can configure your agents based on your business requirements. And with the help of the agent builder, you can customize a lot of out-of-box components available for different industries and also provided by Salesforce. You can create jobs that are the topics, what are the jobs to be done by your agent by defining the topic classification, scope, instructions, which we also see in a minute, which includes, a plain, simple English language, like a natural language, so that you can provide the responses accurately. And obviously, like I mentioned, it can have the guidelines. And also, you can connect your library, the data libraries, or the Agentforce data library, shortly called as ADL, to your agent inside the agent builder to let the agent take things from your uploaded images or the files or whatever it is, either it is a knowledge article, and respond appropriately. And you can take the actions as well. You can leverage the lot of things provided by the agent force inside the agent builder, like the prompt templates, flows, MuleSoft APIs, also Apex as well in case of complex requirements. So this is all about the agent builder. Now, let's take a look at the high-level overview of how things look inside the agent builder, right? I know a lot of things going on in a single screen, right? Starting from top to the bottom, left to the right, etc. So let's debunk it one by one. Okay, on the left-hand side, you see the palette that is called as a tool palette, where you can see a lot of things like the configurations, the ADL agent force data library, the connections, the languages, the event logs, etc., etc. And then we have the place where you can configure your topics, whether it might be the standard topics or it might be the custom topics, or you can configure your actions standard or custom, whatever it is, according to the respective topics. And then you can also set the filters on the topic level based on the context variables. Okay. And in the middle, we have the most interesting thing called as a planner. So in order to provide the transparency, just to understand what is really going on as soon as when the user provides the input or the utterances, let's say I just say hi, I want to understand what is going on behind the scenes, right? Because that is really important to understand how my agent is performing so that I can tweak and I can refine my agent in a better way so that it can provide more accurate results. So all these things you can find in the planner. On the right hand side, we have the conversation preview. This is where all the conversation takes place. Let's say you configured a lot of stuffs and you want to test it out. Let's say I want to test it out. Like say I want to book a hotel, so that is an utterance, right? And as soon as you provide that utterance, you can exactly see what response you're going to get from the agent. And the same responses you might expect in the customer facing agents inside in the customer facing sites. So this is all about the conversation preview. And if you notice, I know my screen is a little bit small. There is a eye icon and the refresh icon over here. I know this is very simple but effective feature. So let's say if you want to set any context variables, let's say if you want to run this builder only in terms of the verified user, you can set all those things inside that eye icon. And obviously, if you make any changes, you need to refresh the conversation preview to start a new session. So that is mandatory and required in order to provide more accurate and up-to-date results. And on top of that, we have around three to a lot of buttons over here. The first one is the setup checklist, and this is one of my favorite features inside the agent builder. Okay, so let's say you're new to Agentforce and you want to set up something, right? You should have a checklist, right? If you're buying something, you have a catalog, right? Okay, these are the things that I have to do. These are the things that are available. So all these things, you can find it inside the setup checklist. So you don't need to go everywhere, find multiple documentations and find out, okay, I need to enable this permission. I need to enable this permission. I need to provide this user, that user. So all these things you can find right inside your setup checklist. I'll show you that in the demo. And then next we have the batch test. Remember, as a developer or a consultant or the admin, whoever you are, it doesn't matter whatever you build, right? You need to test thoroughly end to end because this is going to sit in the customer facing goals, right? So you need to test end to end thoroughly based on the different scenarios that you can have using the Agentforce testing center with the help of the batch test button. And then we all remember that we have the deactivate and activate button based on the things you set up inside the agent builder. So if your agent force agent is ready to be used, you can activate the agent. If it is not, you can deactivate the agent. Right. So this is all about the high level overview of the agent builder. in short. And next, we have the topics. Now we are getting into the nitty-gritties of one by one feature inside the agent builder. So what are topics? Topics are the foundations of your agent force agent's capabilities, defining what it can do and take the actions appropriately based upon your customer's request, right? Think of it like a specialized department which has a lot of different types of specialized expertise people, and we have different set of tools and guidelines, so on and so forth. When customer sends any single message, your agent first determines which department, in this case topic. So if customer says hi, hello, I want this, the first thing that is going to picked up by the agent is based on the topic and the classification you have under that, right? And as a best practice, you always need to set a clear and the distinctive topics to prevent the overlap. For example, let's say I have a topic as, I want something related to my billing, right? That is my topic that I want to achieve. And I put the topic name, classification description, the instruction, scope, so on and so forth. And similarly, I forgot like, okay, I have this topic already that I created. I'm creating a new topic, which are in similar lines, like which want to achieve, billing inquiries. Now the builder will throw you a warning, apologies, saying that you have already the topic in place and it is overlapping with that topic. So you can categorize and see like, okay, which topic is overlapping with what I need to do with the help of the agent. So those things you need to keep it in mind so that your topic should not overlap each other, you know. And then topic has instructions. Instructions are nothing but, the guidelines that direct how your agent conversations are going to be handled within the topics, guiding your action selection. So let's say if you have a topic, let's take an example of the billing inquiries, and you configured action like in the flow, like saying like if the customer is asking for any billing inquiries, you can first ask the customer asking what is your email, please provide that so that I can go ahead and fetch the details based on that. So all these actions under the topic will be categorized based on the instructions under that. And please don't try to write a book over here, don't try to put a very big paragraphs or write poems inside like I want this, that, this, that, and everything. Be very clear and crisp and crystal clear. Clear, I mean, like, don't put in very simple words like do this. That is not a clear statement, right? Be very crisp as much as you can, and also be very detailed as much as you can, and but don't try to write a book. So that is the best practice over here. Of course, it has a lot of character limits, but again, don't try to reach that level. And instructions, like I mentioned, also should be clear, specific, so that it can guide the agents to take which appropriate actions that needs to be invoked, right? And topics also has a scope that defines what agent can do, and most importantly, what it cannot or should not do within that scope area. So all these things you can define right inside your agent. So in short, you can consider, agent force agents determine the topic, which topic to be selected by the name and the classification description and the instruction. And like I mentioned, be very precise and crystal clear. So some of the best practices that you need to keep it in mind apart from the descriptions, like think like how can I categorize the jobs to be done in my agent, right? So if you're building an agent, you have certain things in your mind, right? How you want to. So let's say if customer asks billing questions, okay, it's a billing topic. If customer asks any like any contact related questions, then it's a contact topic. If customer want to escalate anything, that is an escalation topic. If customer asks any general questions, that is a general FAQ topic, right? So you can understand from my things, right? So based on the things, the business requirements or the jobs to be done that you have, it will be categorized into the topics. And there are some standard topics that run behind the scenes. You might have noticed if you just say hi, hello, just that word, those will be categorized as off topic. And agent force just simply say, like I don't have much information. All those stuffs will be categorized into the off topic or the small text. So what this means is that all those are the general utterances or the generic utterances I should put. So the agent force agents have no context because it's a generic question. Let's say like we should not be interacting with agents like hi, how are you, did you have a breakfast today? All those things will be categorized as off topic. So if you put any business utterances, only those will be picked up and those will be running a loop to pick which topic it is, and then appropriate actions will be taken. And use names customers would recognize and understand, right? So let's say the billing, same example I take. Billing, don't try to put your technical jargons over here, um, some technical things like billing, customers, so on and so on. Put it simple: billing inquiries. That should be the topic name. And keeps names very short. Most precisely, it should be 2 to 3 words maximum, not even minimum. It's a maximum, but descriptive. Like, don't things like keep things like business inquiries for customer management process. That is not a recommended name. Keep it like business inquiries. And like I mentioned, make sure your topics are distinct and descriptive, so that your topics won't overlap each other. Um, you know, so before creating topic, let's say you want to create a new topic. Make sure you go through the out of box topics that are already available and provided by the Salesforce in the agent builder. Sometimes like it might suffice your business requirements, and if not, you can take an inspiration from it and you can create your own version and you can modify those topics as per the business requirements. So keep that in mind. Always try to look for the out of box functionalities, and then if that is not achievable completely end to end, you can go with the standard topics. And the best practice tip here is limit topics to 10 per the agent, right? You can have 10 topics per agent for a better performance, and without any overlapping issues and without any inconsistencies or hallucinations based on the responses that your agent is going to give. So don't try to assign more than 10 topics to your for a particular agent. I know you can find a lot of topics, you can create your own topics, but keep it short, based on your business requirement. Now, we have the classification description. As you can see, there is a entry for classification description. So this classification description defines your agent to classify the topic, right? So let's say if it is a delivery issue or a connectivity issue, all those things will be categorized based on this classification description. And the best practice tip over here is, again, include the different ways that your customers might ask for this type of help, right? Here is a place where you can show your talent, right? Not in the name, but in the description. Saying like customer has the connectivity issues, the delivery problems related to order. You can put all those descriptions inside the classification description so that the appropriate topics will be picked up, right? And you can list certain specific keywords and the phrases that your customers typically use. Let's say, before you build agent, you will do this analysis and the research, right? Okay, what are the pain points that customers wants to address with the help of the agents, right? Customers always ask, I want my billing to be done. I want to book a hotel. I want to book a movie ticket. I want to, go for this place. I want to research this. So if you look at this thing, there are certain keywords in this, utterances. So you can put all those keywords right inside your classification description that your customers always use in their content, in their utterances. And the class, you should put a classification description in such a way that it should cover end to end of the topic name that you gave. It should not be like a half boiled, right? So if you say delivery issues, it should address anything related to delivery issues. Let's say if you're running a business, and if you address delivery issues in the name of the parcel is already delivered but the customer didn't reach it, or get it, or the incorrect deliveries, all these things should be covered inside your classification description. And most importantly, put it in plain simple English language, right? And we'll take a look at it. There is a special feature inside that agent builder where you can take the help from the AI to refine this description, not just descriptions but also scope, the instructions, etc., right? And don't try to put a technical jargons right inside your description. Also, it should be distinct. Everything inside the topic should be distinct with each other, so nothing should be repeated. And if you have it by mistake, then agent starts hallucinate. It will try its best to provide the responses, but the accuracy level will go down. And let's say if you are having an agent and if your agent is always providing inconsistent results, so the first place that you need to check is your topic name and the classification description and the scope. That is the first place that you need to investigate and refine it according to your business requirements to provide more accurate results. I know I spoke a lot regarding the topics. Let's, once we take a look at while building the agent, we'll go through all this. Next, we have the actions. So, what is actions? To put it simple, actions are the tools that your agent force agent uses to get information or perform any tasks, right? And let's say if you want to take any action, like create a record, update multiple records or summarize these records, all these things can be performed with the help of the actions inside the agent thing. And while defining the agent, it's crucial to understand, how the reasoning agent, that is Atlas reasoning engine, picks up the particular agent or the action to run. So remember, it will be picked up based on the instructions that you configure it under the topic. Okay. And Agentforce Actions comes up with a lot of standard out-of-box actions. Also, you can create your own custom actions. So it is always recommended that take a look at the standard ones that are available and see if you can leverage that inside your agent. If not, you can create your custom agents as well. And some of the standard actions that are available or that comes as a out of box are the general FAQ or the escalations. You might have seen this already, the order inquiry, the case management. So these are the things that you find as a standard out of box component or out of box actions right inside your agent. And the best practice tip is you are recommended to have the 10 actions per topic for better performance. So let's say if you have lots of actions in your agent that you want to perform different reasons, right? Fetch the email, update the email, update the contact record, update the phone, whatever it is, you can have 10 actions for a better performance per topic. And you can have 10 topics per agent, and you can have 10 agents per org, and you have, sorry, 20 agents per org and 20 agent versions you can have it in your org. So this is all for the best performance and the best practice step. All right. Okay, so before I go into Agentforce data library, I just want to take a quick pause over here to see if there are any questions. Aman?
Yeah, there was one question and I answered it. So the question was, can we create knowledge articles with Agentforce?
Yes, obviously you can,
Yeah, so that's what I
if you have the right
mentioned.
functionality. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you
yeah,
don't mind, can we take a break of 5 minutes?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let me
So
stop sharing.
yeah, yeah. So we'll quickly have a break of 5 minutes. I'll put on the timer and please be back everyone after 5 minutes.
Cool.
Okay, I hope everyone is back from the break. The good thing is we had 56 audience before the break and we still have the same number of audience. So we are going good, Logesh. We can
That's
get
great.
started.
All right, let me share my screen again. Just give me a moment. I think I'm gonna need to stop sharing. Yeah. Thank you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Okay, so we have seen a lot of interesting things regarding the topics, the instructions, and what are the things you should do and you are not recommended to do in order to achieve the better performance. Now we'll take a look at the most interesting part, that is Agentforce Data Library, or shortly called as ADL, right? You might be very familiar with this thing. Like, let's say if you want to ingest any structured or unstructured data, so that your agent force agents can respond based on those things, you can leverage these functionalities. So simply put, Agentforce data libraries uses grounding to index your knowledge articles or the fields in it, or your file, whatever you're going to upload, or the web sources that is relatively new, so that AI agents know which information that is required to respond based on it, right? And to make use of this Agentforce data library, you must have a data cloud setup. So what this means is that you should have the data cloud provision in your org. So without data cloud, this will not work. And if you create data libraries, it is going to consume the data cloud credits. I know data cloud credit is a whole different topic, but to put it simple again, data cloud credits are nothing but digital currencies that you can pay for to make use of any data cloud services. That is all about the data cloud credits. Now, after you create the ADL, so let's say before we jump in, let's first understand what are the different types of data sources available that you can have it in the ADL. The first thing is that you can have the files. You can upload any files of 4 MB of text for text files, or HTML files, or 100 MB for the PDF files. You can check the help documentations for more accurate things as of today. And then there is a second category called knowledge. So let's say you have different types of knowledge and you want your agent to respond based on the knowledge things that has been configured over here. You can configure that or choose this data source. And the third thing is that the interesting one that got released I think few months back, it is web search. So a lot of times customers ask questions that are very general. Where I can find this information? Where to go this information? All these things that we do usually in the Google, right? So if you use this web search as a data source, you can let your agent, those agents can handle any general queries that they can search it in the general and publicly available information over the internet. So this is all about the data sources that are currently available in the ADL as of today. And the thing is that as soon as you create the ADL with a specific data source, and once it is created, you can't go back and change that data sources. So we need to be a bit careful over here. Once you set the data sources, it cannot be changed. So either you need to delete it, and or you need to recreate the other one with a different data source. And this entire ADA uses a concept called as RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. I know you might be very familiar with this topic. If you're not sure, no problem. So RAG is simply a technique that combines the retrieval and the generation. As the name itself says, retrieval augmented generation, right? So what retrieval means? Retrieve means what in basic English? So finding relevant information from the respective sources, like it may be the file or the knowledge or any web search or whatever it is, right? And generate. So based on those retrieved information, everything will be generated, right? Using the LLMs that has been configured behind the scenes, and all those generated responses will be understandable by the humans, and everything is grounded in your data. So let's say if I ask a question, what can I eat? It's a very generic question, right? And without the RAG, you can respond anything, whatever you want, or whatever you like, or whatever time you want to eat. Go ahead and eat it, or you don't want to eat it. So these are all the common responses because this is not grounded. So let's say if it is grounded, right? Which means my data is already there based on the retrieved data, right? Logesh will eat particularly on this particular time. This is his favorite food. So based on all those things and retrieved information, it can provide the personalized suggestions. So that is what the specialty of this rack. And think of it like, first you have to look up and then answer smartly, right? First you need to look for the data and then only you can respond smartly. So particularly in Salesforce, how RAG works, right? So when you ask a question, let's say your customer handles tons of cases on a day-to-day basis, on a hourly basis. Most of the customers ask, "What is my refund policy? I want to cancel this. What is the policy and the recommendations? What are the things that I need to keep it in mind? And if you want to go for any airline business, like what is my bag check-in policy? How much weights I can carry?" So all these things are basic questions. And if your customer maintains all this information in the policy documents, you can fed all those policy documents inside the Salesforce using the ADL and the data cloud, and then it will be broken into multiple chunks. And when you ask a question, what is my refund policy, right? As soon as you ask the question, a RAG will run behind the scenes and it will go out and search for that particular index or whatever it is inside the multiple chunks, and it will pick the relevant response and it will give the response back to you in a very human friendly way. So this is a simple example, right? So all these things again runs inside the trusted boundary, so none of the information or your sensitive information will leave out of Salesforce, I mean the trusted boundary. Okay, so this is just to give overview of the Agentforce data library. Okay, so moving on, um, you know let's understand what happens really when you create a data library, right? As I mentioned, there are three types of data sources that you can do or put. The first one is the files, and the second one is the knowledge, and the third one is the web sources. Let's take a look at what are the things that happens behind the scenes as soon as you ingest or upload any files, right? So as you can see over here, it might be any data library, right? If you have multiple files or if you have multiple data libraries, so whatever it is, right? So based on all these things, as soon as you upload, before we jump in, everything is automated process. So you don't need to do anything in between. So everything is automated for you. You just need to go ahead and verify all the things are properly in place. Plus, you need to have a data cloud functionalities in your org. And once it is done, once you ingest that file, a data lake object will be created for you. And you can take a look at the name over here. And once the data lake object has been created, data model object also has been created. And once demo has been created, search indexes has been created. There will be two entries, chunk and the indexes, right? Chunk is the place where it has broken down your entire file into multiple chunks, and then there will be specific index to it. And also you will have the default drivers created for you, and you can query all those things inside the data cloud explorer, right? You can see, okay, this is the chunk that has been created, okay, all good and everything. And finally, if your search index is ready for use, you're good to go with your Agentforce agent to take any action based on the questions that your customer is going to have, right? So like I mentioned, you can upload up to 4 MB of text or a HTML files, or you can upload 100 MB of PDF files into this area. Now, coming to the knowledge, what happens behind the scenes, right? Because knowledge is completely different from the files. So if you have knowledge articles and you want to leverage those knowledge articles in order to respond to your customer questions, you can let the ADL handle this. And you can choose the knowledge articles, like which field that your Agentforce agents can refer, like the title field or the summary field or the customer facing, whatever field it is. And if it is having multiple data categories or data category groups, so everything can be ingested as a data lake objects, and subsequent data models will be created, and subsequent search indexes will be created, and the retrievers will be created, right? So once the search index is ready for use, you are good to go. Now, the most important thing to note here is this particular action respects the permissions and the sharing settings. So what that means is that when the agents generate any responses based on the knowledge articles that you ingest it in ADL, the action only uses the knowledge articles the requesting user can access. Right. So you need to provide the record access as well properly, as we discussed earlier, so that the Agentforce agents can provide more accurate and appropriate results based on the customer's questions. Now, Oftentimes, very frequently, we'll get this question. You might be seeing this question a lot of other places. Does Agentforce require data cloud? Right, and this is a common question that we used to hear from multiple customers or multiple developers. Like, do I need to have the data cloud when I need to, if I want to work in, Agentforce? The short answer is yes. Data cloud, it's an integral part of Agentforce business because data cloud architecture is leveraged, for certain features in Agentforce like this ADL, this agent analytics, and the digital wallet, so on and so forth. So you need a data cloud in order to make use of the Agentforce. Now, coming to the inbound and outbound connections, right? So you build all the stuffs inside the agent builder. Now you want this agent to be published in the external things so that your customers can make use of it. So there are two options like we discussed earlier. The first thing is that inbound omni-channel flow, and the second one is that outbound omni-channel flow. From the name itself, you can understand it's a omni-channel type flow, right? Let's say, like if you want to, like deploy your agent in your customer facing site or your experience cloud site, you can take a help from this inbound omni-channel flow. So inbound omni-channel flows are initiated basically by the customer, where while outbound omni-channel flows are initiated by the agent or the system. Okay, so like inbound flows are initiated by the customer thing. So as soon as the customer asks questions or customer begins interacts with the agent, the messaging interacts with the messaging channel, because this is basically a messaging channel, right, where you're embedding your agent, right, such as chat widget or your customer or your custom things that you can find it in the help.salesforce.com, that is completely custom, where you can start asking questions. Everything will be routed to the agent, and agent can provide the appropriate responses. um, um, for example, like if the customer says, I want to book a hotel. So this is one of the utterances, right? So where you will put this information in the chat window or the custom AI, that whatever you're going to have. So all those things will be routed to your agent via this inbound omni-channel flow, so that you can provide the responses, and in turn the responses will be carried forwarded to the respective chat. So inbound omni-channel flow does for that. So for the internal facing agents, you don't need to have anything like that. You can find everything internal, right inside the top right corner of your in your org. And the next is outbound omni-channel flows. So outbound omni-channel flows are typically, triggered by the agent's action or by the system. For example, if the agent want to send any messages to your customer, or to provide any update on their case, or want to escalate the case, like I mentioned, if the agent is handling any angry customer on a particular time or a date, it can always escalate to the human agent, and inside the org, the human agents will be there, and they can take over the conversations, and they can provide appropriate responses in our, rather than agent is responding all those answers. So this is all about the inbound omni-channel flow and the outbound omni-channel flow, and this is really important when you're working with the customer facing agents. Now, context variables. This is also one of the really interesting feature that is available inside the agent builder. So what is a context variable basically, right? Context variables, like are particularly useful for personalizing the interactions based on the known customer informations. So let's say if you want to run any topics or run anything based on only the verified user, I mean, if you're publishing your agent in the customer facing experience cloud site, and there are two types of concepts over there, right? Guest user and the authenticated user. And if you want to run specific set of objects only for the verified users, you can leverage these custom variables. And when you are designing the custom variables, you need to keep this thing important in your mind, that it is based on the session limitations. What this means is that those become immutable during that session, and you can't change the custom variables during the session. Okay. Also, one of the interesting feature is like with the help of the context variables, you can systematically lock and unlock certain topics and the actions. Let's say you have around 5 to 6 topics, and based on the custom variables, you can lock and run only certain topics based on this custom or context variables. And also an important thing note here is like you should not be using customer or context variables for any sensitive data that your customers should not modify, right? So do not try to put any variables on your customer or customers sensitive information. That is not recommended. And you can't just simply test the context variables right inside your agent builder, because it always require a messaging session record. So because in order to simulate that, you need a messaging session record like you simulate it in the public facing site. Okay, so you might be wondering, what is messaging session record, right? I hear that. So messaging session records basically represents a session on the messaging channel, particular messaging channel, where your agent is going to sit in, right? So once you create the messaging session record, you can set this context variables, and then you can test your respective topics and the responses.
Yeah, I think there is some network issue from his end. Let me check with him. Are you all able to hear me clearly?
Yes, yes, Amar, we can.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Aman.
No worries. Let's wait for 2 minutes. Okay, so there is a power cut at his place. So that is the reason this has happened. Anyways, how is it going, everyone? Are you able to get everything that he has covered? Okay, lot of thumbs up. So that means it's going good. I know you all are eagerly waiting for the demo part, and I've already conveyed that to him. So don't worry. He's fixing up the issues. There's a power cut. Being India, that's one of the common thing that happens during rains, right? Where are the recordings uploaded? That's a very good question. So yeah, so the recording will get uploaded on our YouTube channel, that is Automate Sphere. Please don't put a space between Automate and Sphere, otherwise you will be redirected to another YouTube channel. After I created a YouTube channel, there are multiple YouTube channels that get created. So here is that. Yeah, I think Logesh is back. Logesh,
Hello everyone, apologies, like I lost my internet.
no worries.
All right, I'm running on my generator, so if I drop a game, it may be because of the power cuts. I'll be back. Okay, just a heads up. Okay, so we are talking about the context variables and its importance, right? How it is going to control your topics and the context based on the variables. So this is all about the context variables that you can do. You can lock and unlock systematically your topics and take actions appropriately. Okay, next is the language, right? Because this is also an important thing that gives a personal touch to the customers, right? Let's say the customer is from Spain, or Italy, or France, or Europe, or US, Australia, anywhere in the world, right? So they want the answers, sometimes in their native language to get that touch. So you can take a look at the official documentations. What are the languages that are currently supported, and what are the languages that are, available as the beta functionalities. So currently you can have the English, Japanese, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish in certain locales. And Agentforce default also supports now more than 9 languages, right? And also the tone is also important, right? So we have three different types of tones: formal, neutral, and casual, right? So tone is nothing but how your agent can express your brand personality in the messages, like the voice, the punctuation, the sentences, or the choice of words it use. Everything will be controlled by the tone, Like I mentioned, there are three different types of tones: formal, neutral, and casual. Formal is nothing but more polished and professional, responses will be given. Let's say if you ask like, hey, I want to book my hotel. That's it, and the responses will be provided in such a way. Sure, how may I can help you with that? Please provide all this details. So this is very formal, and this reflects your company's brand, right? And then if it is neutral, it is very unbiased and non-evaluative. And if it is casual, it is very relaxed and very informal. So let's say if you're handling any financial institution customers, it is recommended to keep the tone as very formal, because in the finance world, everything is picture perfect, right? You need to have the responses in such a way it should be very formal and well polished and systematic. Well, for example, you have the gaming company, right? So those are the places where formal things won't work. So you need to be very casual, right? Be casually chat, right? Hey bro, what happened, like what's up? So all those things can be controlled in the casual things, right? And a thing to note here is this language settings apply to the LLM generated messages. What that means is that you should have the topics, classification, description, scope, instructions, everything in English. This is for a reason, right? Because when all these things are sent to the LLM, because LLM needs to understand that in a language and then provide the responses, and in turn all those responses are translated and given to the user in their language that has been set over here. So that is really important. You need to have the topic and instructions, everything in English. And right, sometimes, let's say I speak multiple languages. Let's say I'm a polyglot. I know 5, 10, whatever language it is. Um, I ask a question in Spanish. So in turn, Agentforce responded in Spanish. Now I switch my question to English. If you do that in between the conversation, Agentforce will learn that and it will try to give the responses only in English, right? So in between the conversations, if you try to switch the languages, always the responses from the Agentforce agents are only in English. So this is one of the thing that we need to note. Okay, the last thing, I promise this is the last thing regarding the features, then we'll deep dive into the demo. Event logs, right? When it comes to the logs, either it may be the debug logs or whatever log it is, it's really important to understand what are the things that are going behind the scenes or in the transactions to understand, okay, this agent on this particular date, this has been happened, right? So all these things are captured inside the event logs. So basically, event logs is a dedicated place where you can capture all the events that happens in the agent conversations to help the admins, I mean the internal admins, to review, to test, or to troubleshoot the agents to understand what happened. So you can turn on these functionalities while creating the agent, all while setting up your agent. And if not, like no problem, inside the Agentforce builder itself, you can enable this setting. And you might be thinking, I do understand what is this event logs, how it is going to help me, right? That's a basic question we have. So event logs, like I mentioned, it captures the event in the agent session based on the conversation it's going to have. That helps admins to test and troubleshoot. Okay. And event logs are available only inside the agent builder, right? And it stores the information for up to 7 days. And if there are any errors in the session, everything will be captured in the event log. So you don't need to worry about that. Again, this event log leverages data cloud credits, meaning like what that is, like data cloud credits are digital currencies that you can pay to make use of any data cloud services. So this uses data cloud credits. Okay, as a developer, as an admin, as a consultant, as an architect, whatever role it is, we built most interesting top-notch agent, right? It is also equally important to test the agent. I know we might be having dedicated QA team, but before that, we developed it. It's our responsibility to test end to end thoroughly, because it how it's going to function, right? Because you are the one who built it, so you know the edge case scenarios, you know how it's going to function in the customer facing things, etc. So you can leverage the Agentforce testing center, where you can either you create and upload your utterances so that it will run and it will give the pass results. Also, you can let the agents or AI to create utterances for you and simulate the agent, and it will give the pass and fail results. So based on that, you can check for accuracy and you can tweak the agents. So this is all can be done with help of the Agentforce testing center. Now, bonus thing, my favorite is AI assisted agent generation. we are all humans, right? Sometimes we make mistakes and we create or put the descriptions in such a way that at the time we think, okay, this is a description, and we forgot like we can create multiple descriptions, that will the topics that might overlap each other. And in order to avoid that, we can take help from the AI to do that job for you. So what that means is that you just need to provide a simple text in that, and let the AI can create the entire agent, or you can refine the agent topics, or you can create the topics for you, and you can refine the topic instructions, classification, descriptions, whatever in the topic for you. So that agents, this AI assisted thing takes a first pass for you, and you can go beyond that. So this is one of the interesting things that that is inside Salesforce that will provide a lot of errors in it. Okay. I know we heard a lot of theories, a lot of things that we spoke about. Now we arrived at the demo. Let me stop sharing. Let me share my org. So before I go to the org, I want to take a pause over here to see if there are any burning questions. Aman, do we have any?
Yes, yes. We do have one question. So there is a question where Jignesh is asking, what is the format supported by this ADL?
Formats? You mean the
Yeah,
file formats?
yeah,
Yeah, good question. I think it's Vignesh, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you can upload PDFs, doc files, Word files, HTML, just plain text files, so on and so forth. So most of the all the formats you can upload, but you can refer the documentations for most up to date information. I hope
Okay.
it answers your question.
Yeah, he have given a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Next
But
question is from my. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Please
and
go
no worries, no worries. So, but typically, most of the, if you want to leverage the file functionalities, right? Either you might upload the PDF or the Word file mostly, because that is where most of the companies have their policies, rules and regulations, the company things, etc.
on. Great. So the next question is from Mayur, but I think that will get automatically answered in tomorrow's session. He's asking, apart from handling customer queries, where else can I use Agentforce?
Again, great question. Like I mentioned, like we have a dedicated session tomorrow where we're gonna
Yeah.
explore the different types of agents. So to to put it simple, we have two types of agents. One is the customer facing, and one is internal facing. Okay. So customer facing one, you can leverage a service agent, and the internal facing one, there are lots of agents available which increase the productivity.
Okay. I think he will get better answer tomorrow also. He gave a thumbs up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we give SharePoint access to Agentforce?
SharePoint access. Can you please elaborate on that?
I think he's asking, let's say they have data in the SharePoint. And instead of putting in, like he's saying they're directly giving access to the SharePoint rather than data ingesting it through the data cloud. I think that is the question he have in his mind. Yeah, exactly. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
So
Aman,
Yes.
he's
right.
saying,
So, Nikhil, it's again a good question. So, the best solution over here is to come with a data cloud. No? So,
yeah,
ideally, ADL supports the files, but it just looks for the files and the uploaded knowledge articles or the web points access and everything, right? But if you have a dedicated data source, the best solution is to come via data cloud, and you ingest everything from your SharePoint and get the appropriate chunks created, and to let the agents handle that.
yeah,
Right?
that is the one. And the other way is like, we can connect so we have an option where we have files connect, like where we can connect our Salesforce or with the SharePoint. But what will happen is all the SharePoint files will get stored, but and then the Agentforce can read that. But if we use that feature, what will happen is in the normal Salesforce or whatever space it will get stored up, like it will get fully utilized. So yeah, the better solution is to go through the data cloud only.
Yes,
So I
and
agree with.
yep, and it's a zero copy, which means none of the data is stored, physically inside your Salesforce app, and everything is virtually represented. So it's a best option. I hope,
Oh yeah,
Nikhil, it answers your question.
yeah, yeah. I'm giving the confirmation in the chat. We can proceed
Right.
ahead.
Okay, let me share my R screen. Um, Can you guys
Yeah.
see my Salesforce org?
Yes, we can.
All right, let's get some, interesting hands-on. So what I've done is I've created this org in Agentforce developer org setup. You can go ahead and sign up for that. Um, so before we jump in Agentforce, blah 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 blah, whatever it is, everything starts from the permissions. Permissions should be there properly so that you can build anything on top of it, right? And it starts from turning on Einstein under the Einstein setup. Okay, so in order to use any generative AI or any agent force functionalities, you need to toggle this button to on. Okay, and there are other toggles as well. You can turn on and turn it off based on your business requirements. So let's say if you want to deploy your prompt templates, both activated and deactivated versions, you can toggle this button. And there are other things as well. The instinct trust layer. What are the things that can be masked? What are the things that can be available in the instinct trust layer? Everything you can find it over here. And if you want to store any data based on the responses or the conversations that your agent is going to have, you can leverage this functionality so that you can analyze, okay, what are the pain points that your customer is always putting in the chat to get the responses and everything. You can leverage this functionality. But
Okay. I think again there is some network issue. Let's wait for 2 minutes. So, by the way, how many of you have already explored the Agent Force before this series? Okay, I see 3, 4, 5.
Me, Aman.
Great. I see a lot of thumbs up coming up. Okay, great, great, great. Unlike me, who started exploring just 3 months back. Infosys has also, I have not explored it. Okay, no problem. So, in the meantime, he joins. I hope for the people who joined us late, you are aware of the giveaways that we have announced few minutes in the beginning. So these are the giveaways that we are going to do throughout our series on the last day of the session series, not session. And these are the rules you have to keep in mind. So please make sure that you have this rules in your notes and don't miss to grab any giveaways that we are going to give. As I said, we have ample amount of giveaways and we don't want to keep it with us. So yeah, he's here.
apologies again. Sakar back.
No worries, no worries.
There is a construction work going on near my flat, so that's the reason.
Okay, if it's going nearby your flat, it's fine. I hope you are not building another apartment.
I wish I could in Bangalore, but
Who
yeah,
knows? Salesforce employees get paid a lot.
no comments on that. Everything starts with the in-screen setup over here. So you need to turn on this setting. If you want to make use of any generative AI functionalities right inside your Salesforce org. And once you do that, automatically what will happen is an Agentforce Studio leaf will be created for you. So under that, you can see the Agentforce agents, and it is a place where you can see a lot of different things. We'll come to that. And under that, we have the Agentforce assets. Assets are nothing but, the name itself says the assets that is part of the agent. That is nothing but the topic and actions, because these two are the main important assets that makes an Agentforce can run. So we have list of different topics available, as you can understand from the source itself, whether it is standard or custom. And the reference topic type is of the box, right? So we have a general CRM topic, we have the escalation topic, and you can see these are the custom ones that I created. and the type itself says like custom. Plus, it has a classification description. You wrap text, you can see what are the descriptions for this particular topic, right? And for example, if you pick this topic, it says engages and interacts with the user about any request that could be CRM related things, right? And like, for example, if you take escalation, this handles escalation related things. And if you take any general FAQ, this handles any general questions that your customers have. And if you want to create a custom one, those will be displayed over here. And we have another panel called actions, right? So this is a place where you can find actions to complete all the jobs to be done, required by the agents. It also has the standard and the custom, plus it has a different thing as called as like reference action type. For example, take this add case comment. This is one of the actions. As you can understand from the symbol itself, it's a flow, right? And it has a description. The source is standard and the reference action type is flow. And if you just open this, give it a second to load, refresh. Yeah. Link, link, link. Take some time to load, give it some time. Bear with me. You can able to hear me, right, Aman?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
clearly.
cool. I think it is taking a lot of bandwidth. Okay, I think it is back. Yep. Apologies for the short delay. Yeah, this is the details related to the action where you can see that what is the reference action. In this case, the flow has been referenced and you can use this icon to go to the respective action or not. So in this case, if I open any flow, so this is a flow that has been attached to the particular action. And then there is a checkbox over here that lets you to know like this particular action has been assigned to any active agent or not, so that you can work on it appropriately by updating any information. So if you take this as an example, this is a standard out of box agent action where it has the agent label, instructions. Again, instructions should be crisp and clear, and then we should not be putting a lot of information over here. And there is a point over here called require user information. So what this means is that, let's say, if your agent user wants to make any DML things inside your R, so you can always check this checkbox saying like, let's say if you want, I want to delete my booking, right? That's one of the sample utterances that we can, customers can put. So if you check this checkbox, the agent will ask like, are you sure you want to delete that record? So all these user confirmations will be taken based on this checkbox. Now we have another entry called as show loading text for this action. So let's say if your action is trying to find something, like get or fetch any respective email IDs, you can check this checkbox so that a loading text will be provided so that user will see like, okay, this is the thing that is going on behind the scenes. And the most important thing to note here is the actions will time out by 60 seconds. So it will no longer run after that. So if something is going on behind the scenes, you will get an error or you will get the respective results from the Agentforce agent, and you can tweak based on that. And this is very simple. We have the inputs and the outputs. So everything is coming from the flow that we have. Okay. And this is a sample flow. And if you take, there are three variables, or I should say four, including the record. And if you take each variable that has been set as input, we have the specific place, right? Whether this will be available outside the flow as an input or the output. So you can provide the things like either check it, or it might be available for input, or if you want to make it available for output, you can check this checkbox. So based on the input and output types set over here, those things will be categorized and segregated here. So in the flow, we set the case record as input. right? And the data type is record input. And this requires input, right? So if you want to fetch any case details, you need to provide the case number, right? Without that, we can't simply code and search randomly inside the app. So you need a case, you need to provide a case number. So that is all about this, and it is required. And the case comments also it is required, and you need to collect the data from the user. You can check this checkbox. And then we have the output. Output is a place where you can, where your agent will show the output, right, based on the information that has been gathered. So that is where this checkbox comes in, show in conversation. If you hover over this eye icon, you can see allow an agent to include this parameter in the response to an end user. Let's say like if the user wants to get any case details that has been created a couple of weeks ago and no response from that, once the agent asks for the case number and if the user provides the case number, um, all these things will be captured and it will provide the respective details in a very simple natural language in the conversation, and that is where this checkbox comes in. So this is all about the actions that is respective to the agent force thing. Now let's move on to the agent force agent. All right. Like I mentioned, everything begins with the Agentforce Studio. A lot of things over here. It starts from the right corner. So we have the Agentforce toggle button or the icon. So we need to toggle it in order to make use of the Agentforce functionalities. And if you want to create a new agent, you can click this button. I'll come to that later. And there is a dedicated place for the Agentforce default agent that can be leveraged over here. You see this one? This is the default agent. And if you click this, you can see the information so you can ask any questions. Right now it's giving me an error because I didn't configure it properly. Okay, so these are in the bottom. You can see the list of agents that you created or that is already available. For example, if you turn on this default agents, right, by default, this agent will be created for you. Salesforce creates that for you. And under that, and if you expand this according, you have different types of versions that also you can open it. And also you can see the types of agents. I think someone asked what are the different types of agents available, right? So this is a place where you can find what are the agents that you create can have the different types. And there is a next screen where you will exactly find the types of agents that are available in your org. And the description to the agent and who created it, its active status, last modified, so on and so forth, right? So these are the basic things that you can find in the agent details screen. Now moving on to the create a new agent. Okay. So these are the different types of agents available as of today in this developer edition org if you want to practice. And if you want more agent, obviously you can reach out to Salesforce account executives or raise a case to understand more about what are the agents that are available for your business requirements. So like I mentioned, there are two ways that you can create an agent. Either you can pick the agent from here and you can start creating agent from scratch on your own, or you can let the Gen AI create the agent for you. So we'll take a look at both the things. First, let me pick this one, agent for service agent, right? So I want to create a service agent. Now, next step is you have to select the topics. As you can see, since it is a service agent, right? The system, what has done is it automatically added the standard out-of-box topic that has been provided by Salesforce. You can see the status has added, and you can see on the right-hand side what is exactly the topic and what it does, and the example also has been provided, so that you don't need to, wondering like what this topic does. I have no idea what it does, right? So you can find all this information right over here. Now, let's say these are the topics that has been added automatically by the Salesforce org. And let's say I don't want order inquiries. Let's say I don't want it. All you have to do is just click on this added. So it'll be unadded and it'll become plus add, right? And if you want to add it back again, you can just click add. So the status will be changed to added. So it is very simple thing. And let's say topic is fine. I want to see what are the out of box actions that comes out of this topic, right? And if you want to see that, for example, I want to see the account management. You will see a hyperlink over here and just click on it. You will see the out of box actions that comes as a part of this. So where it has update a verified contact. Also, it has a short description that says what this action does, and reset secure password, answer questions with knowledge, etc. So everything you can find over here. Okay. Now moving on next. Okay, so this is a place where you customize your agent, right from your name of the agent to your company name and the agent user, etc. So, for example, I want to name this agent as, for sample purpose, connectivity agent, right? And let me copy it over here. We set the API name. Okay, so descriptions are already provided over here, so I'll leave as it is. But if you want to update it based on your business requirement, feel free to do that, and you will get the character limits also over here. And also we have the role. So basically, it defines what role your agent is going to perform. Remember, we have seen the five key attributes, and role is one among them, right? So we need to set the role over here. I will leave as it is. And the company, I just say ABC company, just for demo purpose. And you can elaborate what your company does in terms of service or in terms of related to this agent. So once it is done, there is an option where you can set, whether you create a new agent user or you can pick any agent user. So in this case, since I have the agent for service agent already, I have the user associated with it. So what I'm thinking is I have to create a new user over here. So I just click this, and there is a checkbox that you notice over here, which is related to the debug logs, where you can see what is really going on behind the scenes, like if something happens in the particular session. So I check this checkbox, or let me uncheck this checkbox so that I can show you how you can check it inside the building. Okay, so I fill in all the necessary informations. And also, I forgot to mention, on the right hand side, you find best practices related to the agent settings, how the description should be, how the role should be, how the company description should be, everything you find over here. And if you want more information, you can click on this link to go to the help document to find more relevant information. Okay, so let me click next. Okay. So this is a place where you can configure your data sources. I mean, the Agentforce data library. Currently, I don't have any data library. Let's take a look at this thing. Agentforce data library. Okay. So remember, if you want to use the data library, you need to enable or provision data cloud in your org. So if you don't have it, this option will not be enabled. You can't see the new library. So since this is a developer edition app, I already provisioned the data cloud, and I can see the new library button. And if you just click on it, you will have this pop-up and just provide a sample thing, ADL. In actual use case, you need to provide the appropriate names. Just for a demo sake, I'm just giving the sample things. Okay. So let me save it. Okay, as soon as you save it, you will be provided with an option to choose the data types. Like I mentioned, files, web. I think this custom retriever one, which is a new one, I think I need to explore it, but I need to enable the knowledge. I think go here, let's see if knowledge is enabled. Okay, I didn't enable the knowledge. That is why it is not showing up over here. Okay, so for demo, I pick the file. So once you select the file, you can select the data space as well if you have any. So by default, it will be set as default. And remember, like you can have only one data type. You can't have multiple data types in one area. Right? And if I want to upload any files, I can upload any files, and you can look at the limits over here. You can attach the PDFs or any HTML files or any Word documents up to 400 MB over here. And once you do that, a data source will be created for you, and then you can leverage that inside your data library. Okay. And then for now, I don't have any such requirement for the data library. So I'll just ignore as it is because it is an option. It is not mandatory. Let me click create. Um, Oops, that is error creating default user. Okay, I think this allows only one agent creation. Let me go back, open the new agent. Okay, what happens after this step is I think something got corrupted. So what happens after this step is you will have this screen where you can see what are the topics that has been configured, and those all will get captured over here. Okay, and this is basically an agent builder. So it has the agent name, the versions. Right now it has only one version, to see when it has been created and the timing, and also it has the settings. It is a place where you can update any information you want. So like I mentioned, I already set the enhanced event logs to unchecked. If you want, checked. If you want to uncheck it, you can uncheck it over here. And if you want to provide more informations to the description, the role, or the company, you can provide all these informations and click save. Okay. And if you want to have more help, like you want to understand what is this Agentforce agent and a quick look, everything will be listed over here. So for example, if you click this will take you to the trailhead. Okay, so coming from the tool palette, we have the topics. We'll come to that later. We have the data library. So currently, I don't have any data library. So that is why it is showing as empty. And if you want to create a new data library, you can create it from here and add it over here if you have one. And the connections. So this is where I was pointing out the inbound omni-channel flows and the outbound omni-channel flows, right? And if you want to make your agent to set like in your customer facing sites, you can have this flow setup. And once you have the flow setup, that will automatically show up over here. And then we have the outbound omni-channel flows, where if you want to escalate anything to your human agent, you can leverage this. For example, if the customer says, I want to connect to your customer service app, I don't want to talk to you, right? So those kind of things, like, you can set an escalation message to the customer saying, one moment, while I connect you to the next available service representative or sales representative, or whatever it is based on the requirements. So you can provide the updated information and the messages over here. And once everything is done, so this will be set up and good to go. Next is the context variable. So there are some default context variables that has been provided by the Salesforce. For example, this is the verified customer ID or is verified. So what this means is that stores a Boolean variable that indicates whether the customer code is verified or not. So all these things that has been default, but provided by default. And if you want to create a new variable, you can set it like this. What is the data type that you want to have? Right now, only 3 data types supported: text, Boolean, and the number. Okay, and you can provide the respective details. Also, you can provide whether this can be set by the API or this can be set by the LLM that you want to use. So those details that you can find it over here. Okay, and let's say if this context variables are used in any of the topic filters, those details you can find it over here. For example, I used this verified user context variable in one of the topics, right? And that's why it's showing up over here. And then we have the language. So there are two types of language, like I mentioned. The default language, which is the primary language where your agent is going to respond. And then we have the secondary language. Those are the additional languages that you can, ask questions in French. For example, I set the selected as French, right? And we also have the tone. There are 3 different types of tones: casual, neutral, and the formal. So you can set the tones based on your business requirements. And the event logs, it is a place where you can exactly see what is going on behind the scenes, for the particular session. For example, if you take this session and after question, there is a message sent: hi, I'm a service agent, how can I help you? And you can exactly see what is going on, what has been the output provided and everything, so that you can use this to investigate or troubleshoot if there are any issues. Okay, and most importantly, checklist, right? So I know and the information has been scattered across multiple places. So to combine that, everything has been set right inside the checklist. So for example, I provided all the managed permissions, right? And if you want to customize your topic, you can check this checkbox like, okay, I've done that. And if you connected the data sources, yes, I've done that. If you want to test your agent, you can go to the testing center and test this. And if you want to, set up your agents across multiple channels or route any conversation to particular agent, you can set this functionalities. So all these things you can, set it inside or find it inside the checklist. Now, the process won't end here, right? So post agent deployment also, if you want to analyze the patterns, so based on that, you can tweak the agents for more accuracy. You can leverage this data cloud reports to understand the patterns. So this is all about the checklist. Now, coming to the topics. So like I mentioned, there are standard topics and the custom topics. You can understand from this icons itself. These are coming from the standard topics, and these are the ones, custom ones that I created. For example, let's take escalation. Okay, so this is the standard topic that has been provided, and it has some standard actions, or if not, like you can attach it later if possible. So this is standard agent, right? I want to customize it. I want to add another instruction, right? So right now this is completely locked, which means you cannot able to edit any standard actions or topics. And in order to do that, just click new version. So everything will be available for you. Okay, and just provide more information or update any information that it is required. Just click save. Okay, so this will become a custom one now because you edited the standard one and you created a new version that became a custom one. Okay, similarly you can do with all the respective custom topics. Now if you want to create a new topic, right? I want to create a new topic. For example, I want to create lights. Okay, this is just a simple prompt that I have, and this is completely optional. If you want, you can skip it, but I just want to have this. If I click next, yes, you can see all the classification, description, scope, instruction, everything has been created automatically by the AI assistants, right? Where I can find that? This is a place. You see the 3 stars, like a thing over here. Just click on it. So it says we didn't find anything else to improve. So which means this classification description is good. Okay. Let's say handle requires related to booking flights. I'll remove this. Let's see what the suggestion it comes up with now. Okay, you see, the provider is concise, clearly states the scope of the topic because it's very clear. Now let's say handle inquiries. Yeah. Now you can see there are 2 things, right? It says why this particular classification description needs an improvement, right? It says good topic description should clearly define the scope and everything. So it should specify the types, so on and so forth. So you see, it is also suggesting it should be the existing one should be updated with this one, right? Handle inquiries related to booking insights and everything. And if you want to understand more about the best practices, there will be a help link over here. You can just click on it to see the details. And right now, I accept the updates, right? It will be appended over here. So similarly, you can do for scope, instructions, and everything. Like I mentioned, have a very clear-cut instructions. Don't try to put more instructions over here. Next. Okay, so this is where a place where you can pick and choose the standard or the custom top actions. Okay, so right now I'll just leave it as it is and I click finish. Now my flight booking has been created. You can see the indicator as new, which means that this topic has been created freshly now. Okay. Now, if I go to this topic, okay, so the thing to note here is as soon as you create a topic, the API names cannot be editable. So either you need to, make some adjustments to the classification description or scratch this out by deleting it or create a new one. Okay. Now coming to the top actions. There are 3 different ways you can connect actions to any topic. Okay, first you create your own action, either Apex, API, Flow, or prompt template or predictive model, whatever it is, and then you can connect that action to this topic, or you can get it from the asset library that is already available, both standard and the custom that you have created. The most important tip over here is, let's say I have 5 different agents and I have created multiple topics, multiple agents actions over there. And you might be thinking, can I reuse those topics and actions inside this agents? Absolutely, yes, you can. So you don't need to recreate everything or reinvent the same way again and again, right? So you can create your or bring in your already created actions to this particular agent as well. So for example, I want to go with this add case command just for demo purpose. So that can be added over here. And if you want to see the information, you can see the information over here as well. Okay. Now let me, okay. So I want to bring an action from the agent exchange. Agent Exchange is nothing but a marketplace dedicated for the partners, agent places like us, where you can easily find ready-made solutions related to the Agentforce, so that you can pick and choose whatever that has been appropriate for your business, and you can install it in your org, and so that you can load it inside your agent, and you don't need to build anything from scratch. So this is also one of the ways to bring in your actions. Okay. Now, remember, I was mentioning about the filter, right? So let's say you have, in this case, I have more than 10 filters, I believe, and I want to run this filter only when the verified user has been set up, right? And this is coming from the context variables. You can set the filters over here. You can also set multiple filters if you want. Okay. So once it is set, you can see the count over here so that it indicates the filters that has been attached to this topic. Okay, so now we have seen the topics, actions, instructions, and everything. Now let's see. So let me refresh this. This is a refresh thing, and there is a eye icon. And if you click on it, it is a preview tab where you can set all the details. Like if you want to preview based on any particular user or any particular context ID, so on and so forth, you can configure it over here. Right now, I'll leave it as empty. I'll just say hi. Let's see what happens. Remember, I was talking about this planner thing in the middle just to provide a transparency. So what it said, I just said hi, and it said hello. How can I assist you today? Right? Because hi is just a generic utterance, so that's why it has been categorized into off topic, and you can see what instruction has been picked up to respond to this utterance, right? So two instructions, and this is a standard topic that has been provided by Salesforce. So that instruction says the user request is off topic, and do not acknowledge the user's question and redirect the conversation by asking how can I help you with the questions. And there are no actions attached to it. That's why it's showing at 0. And the reason why it is made as off topic, because it's a small talk, because I just say hi, right? And this is the agent response. Now we say I want to I want to do reservation. Now let's see what happens. Yeah, if you see here, now, this time, this is not a small talk, right? Because I said I want to do a description. How it automatically provided this information? Because the classification description and the topic title that I gave, right? And it provides the responses in a such a natural language way so that it's easy to understand. Now, let's see what's going on. So based on the question or the thing that I asked, the topic selected is the flight booking. So why this topic has been selected? Based on this instruction, right? Because it has anything related to search flights, the destination of the airline, and what action it has run. Add case count, because this is just a sample action that I have been added, right? But in reality, is completely different. Okay, and the reasoning is it has been grounded, right? Everything has been grounded in on the details that has been gathered, and this is the agent response. Now you might not be expecting the responses in such a way that you want in a different, right? So you can always suggest an improvement. So you can say what is incorrect based on this response and what do you expect, right? And based on that, some suggestions will be given so that you incorporate into your topic, right? And so that the appropriate actions or the responses will be provided. Okay, so this is all about the entire agent builder starting from scratch to end. And also, if you want to activate it, you can activate it anytime. Okay, and if you want to test this agent, you can click on this batch test. So it will take you to the Agentforce testing center where you can enter any name, let's say sample test something. And if you want to include the context variables, you can click this checkbox. I want to include is verified and verified customer ID. Click next. So either you can upload the CSV file. So there is a template that has been provided for you, and you can provide your sample utterances as a test cases, and you can upload it, or let the AI create it for you. So in this case, number of test cases, I just want to have 20, and I just want to test all the topics. Click next. You just need to provide this, and let me select all this and generate the test cases. I hope it does. Okay, so give it some time. It will take some time to generate all those test cases. You can see the status as creating test cases. So once it is, run successfully, you will find all the details over here. In the meantime, let's look at one of the things that we are talking about, that is create with Gen AI, right? So what this means is that you just need to provide the prompt over here and let the Gen AI take everything for you. It will create the agent and everything automatically for you within minutes, so that you can let the AI agents can take the first pass, so you don't need to involve in any such. Let's say I want to develop or something, build cooking agent. This is my sample prompt. Okay, so let me click next. You see, all the details are automatically filled. Obviously, you need to provide the company information and everything for you. And once you provide all these informations, an agent will be created, and the topic respective topics also will be added. And you can refine those topics one by one to provide more accurate responses. So this is all about the end-to-end, demo of the agent builder that has both manual human creation of agent and also AI assisted agent creation. All right, I know I took a lot of time. Thank you so much for your patience. Over to you, Aman.
Thank you so much, Lokesh, for such an informative session. And I think we have one question in the chat. So the question is from Jignesh again. Can we create formula field context variables while creating custom agent flows?
Interesting question, Jignesh. I don't have an answer right now because I need to check that. I'll get back to you. Okay. And you
Okay.
can reach out to me in the LinkedIn if you want more information.
Yeah, and we also have our WhatsApp group, so they can ask all the questions there as well. Hope you will be you will be answering there, Logesh.
Yeah, yeah, I will.
Just a minute, there's someone at the door.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions, team? You have? I can see two
Okay, we have
questions from Kabir. Yes.
Kabir, yeah, set of
Why
questions are there.
is topic off topic not in standard topics in UI? Is it a default? Yes. You have the answer. It is a default because when you ask any such questions that are categorized as off topic, it's a standard default one. And that is provided by Salesforce that runs behind the scenes. I hope that answers that question. The second question is when creating a new agent, does agent user create a new user every time? Again, it's up to you. So it is always recommended that